I think I feel I feel guilty that I wasted my time not dealing with my own problems. And sometimes I allow that to make me feel even more depressed, because then I become frustrated over the time lost, which incidentally wastes more time, right? But yes, so I am very critical of myself. I do blame myself for pretty much just like everything, you know? Like whatever goes wrong, like it's something in my head, like even whether I communicate it or not, like it's always something about like what I didn't do to end up in whatever situation, whatever predicament I'm in. Like it's always a self-critical thing. So yeah, I think I do direct a lot of blame towards myself, a lot of guilt towards myself, because I've allowed myself to get to a place I didn't think I'd be.
I never wanted to be depressed. There was never a time in my life where I was anxious and I wanted to be anxious. I always wanted to be okay, desperately. I desperately wanted to know how to be happy. And I just didn't know how. And I'm learning how. Like, I didn't know how to be happy. It was something I had to learn how to do. You know, I was just so used to the negative thought process, looking for the wrong, looking for that. It was almost like playing chess with the devil. Like, okay, I think he's gonna do this, so let me just figure out where the negativity is so I could plug that hole. Like, I never got to the point where I was on offense. I was consistently on defense, trying to figure out how to not be depressed, trying to figure out how to not be broken. So it was never a question in my mind, it was never a moment in my life where I was like in denial, like, oh no, I'm not depressed. It was more like I just didn't know how not to be. I was depressed for so long, I just didn't know how to be okay.
I think the hardest part about experiencing depression is sometimes you just don't even have the words to describe what it feels like, or the knowledge of how somebody could help you. Does it feel so dark that you know there's just no way out of it? That's what it feels like. That was my darkest space. Not being able to talk to anybody about it. I felt like no one would understand, or maybe I would look foolish or embarrassed or ashamed. But having to bury it was also pretty horrible, because I still had to take care of my sons, and I still owed them fun and the mom that I was before. And there was a lot of people that were banking on me being the positive person that I always am, and that expectation is hard to fill when you're experiencing depression. So you stuff it, ignore it, push it to the side, and put the happy face on. And I remember posting all of these things on Facebook. That's when my brand actually was birthed, because I was posting all these inspirational quotes and scripture and motivating whatever. But really it wasn't for anybody else. I was just trying to pick myself up out of this hole that I was hiding under. So, yeah.
I wouldn't look at somebody and say, oh, you're depressed. It's because, you know, like you're just young or whatever the case is. No, like it's an issue. It's a problem. It's something that you're going, like that's not what it's supposed to be like. There's a difference between being upset and depressed. There's a difference between being sad and depressed. There's a difference between being nervous and consistently anxious. And that's where it becomes a thing where you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I dealing with these emotions in a healthy way? Like, is this impeding my growth? Is this stopping my functionality? And when you get to a space where it is stopping your functionality, that's when you recognize that you have a problem. You know, when you recognize that it's like, it's hard for you to go to sleep, but it's really hard for you to get out of bed. That's not normal. Like, that's not a regular thing. And it can't necessarily be you putting the pressure on your friends to help you with that. And at some point in time, I had to get to a space where I said, I need to put something in place so that I don't come back here. 'Cause there's no way that my purpose was so that I could be depressed. Doesn't make sense.